What's up, podcasters? Becky here.
Colby Grant.
We are practicing social distancing this week because of the coronavirus.
Yes, lucky us. Lucky
Yeah,
us. But the positive is, if you're watching this, you still get to see us. So that's always
right.
positive.
Here's our faces. We won't miss a
Wonderful.
week.
Yes, and you still get my beautiful background. So there's that.
There's that.
So we are going to talk about kind of the social distance and kind of how this is affecting literally everybody. Small
Literally everybody.
businesses, entrepreneurs, big businesses, just everything. Just
Yeah.
and kind of how is it affecting us? Well, we kind of talked about it last week, but
It kind of got heavier this week, though, with like all the new announcements and restrictions that have been put into play.
yeah, I feel like I don't want to say we downplayed the last episode, but we kind of like, it
It wasn't
wasn't
as
as
serious,
serious.
though.
Yeah, it wasn't what it is now and what it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah.
Because because I was still off school. I think that was the first day I was off of school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still off work, and they said we're going to go back to April 15th, but I'm saying it right now, we're not going to go back to work.
So how's that affecting like tutoring wise? You just have to cancel everything
Well,
or reschedule?
last week, as I said, it wasn't as big of a deal. It was
Yeah.
just, hey, social distance, like stay inside. Everybody's like, whatever, like we don't care. So some parents, because at that time school was supposed to start the week after spring break, so March 30th.
Yeah.
So a lot of parents, or some parents, are just like, you know what, we'll just start March 30th because we'll be back in school. I said that's fine. Some parents, there's I think 3 parents that still wanted to meet to do in person, which was fine. Like, as I said, everybody wasn't taking it as serious, but I did make a Facebook post about it. Like, if you feel uncomfortable or if the tutor feels uncomfortable, that's totally fine. Then we will reschedule for another day or later date, or we'll transition online. But at that moment, no one really wanted to cancel, or they were just like, we'll wait until after spring break. I think that was Monday. So I think that week or this past weekend, or like maybe Thursday, I think that's when it really hit hard. Like,
Yeah.
they came back and said, we're not going back to school until April 15th.
I kind of wonder though, like since this is happening, if your business might blow up because people will want not not for their kids to be hindered because they're not like one-on-one with the teacher, but at the same time they can still see you online, right?
Yeah. So, if you're watching this, we're using the program Zoom, which Zoom has actually lifted their time slot. So let's say if we wanted like 5 people on this episode today, we could, and Zoom wouldn't like give you a time amount that you would have to stay on. So like, for instance, if we had more than, I think, 3 or 4 people, you can only do it for free for 45 minutes. But they
Oh,
took that off where like teachers could have like big classroom settings too. They would have like 10 students on here just talking to them.
yeah.
But it's not that much, but business wise, I don't know, because granted, I've already been tutoring online. All the tutors I have been tutoring online, so they're used to it. They know what to do. And I actually had one parent convert to online this week, because obviously there's no other way. And she was, at the beginning, she was like, no, we're not doing it online. I'm skeptical. My kid can't actually do it. And I texted her today and I was like, as a business person, you have to build up your company. Like, you can't just say, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Like, I have a good tutor. I'm like, I have great tutors. Like, your daughter's going to love it, blah, blah, blah. And I really do. Like, I have good people that do great jobs.
Yeah.
So I set her up with a particular tutor. Her name's Ellie. And I messaged the parent this morning. I was like, hey, because they had it on Saturday. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, how'd the session go? She was like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I think parents just have this, and obviously they're going to have a wake up call now.
Yeah.
But they always have this perception my kid can't learn online. And I think once they actually see it and their kid actually are kind of engaged, because the parents said I felt like my kid was more engaged online than like anywhere else.
Yeah.
So blowing up wise, like, I mean, obviously any person that has a small business hopes like, hey,
given the circumstances, it's kind of crappy, but it's like with your particular business though, people are going to want to seek you out now because you're going to be that outlet for their kids. Like to help them continue even though we're going through this pandemic, which is a good thing, in light of the situation. They can still seek out a company like you. I think it'd be cool like to
Yeah, I think seeing what happens in the next couple of weeks, just because obviously it's probably going to last until August.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll still have like your summer break, but just like still letting people know, hey, like we're still a tutoring company, but also we offer online.
Right.
I don't know what other
left behind.
Yeah, like don't let COVID-19 hinder your educational goals.
Right.
That's my new promotion going out. But I don't know like what other tutoring companies are doing, I guess I should say. Like, I mean, granted, like that's their company. I mean, no one prepares for stuff like this. Just like
Exactly.
My thing about going online was just kind of like I don't want to say being ahead of the curve, but just knowing like everything's going to go online eventually. Kids learn online. The hardest thing about being a kid in school is being on the computer, I guess, and taking tests and just being comfortable on a computer. Like, yeah, you can play Fortnite. Yeah, you can play on an iPhone. But when it becomes actual, like you have to use the keys, you have to use the mouse, like being able to navigate, going through like your iReady or your Chief or whatever thing you're working on, being comfortable doing that, it's terrifying per se for a younger kid, but like after like the first time you having someone walk you through it, like making it comfortable, like when you get into class it's kind of like, oh, this is easy. When you see the FSA computer-based test, it's kind of like, okay, this is the same thing I've been doing with my tutor. Like it's just now I'm just in a setting, I have to be quiet.
That's reassuring.
I really have to focus. So, and I think once the parents see it and know that their kid has the confidence of doing it, then I think that will kind of open their eyes and say, okay, like I don't have to always meet at Panera. Granted, yes. Is it better to meet in person? I would say, yeah. Like who wouldn't want to meet in person? But you can't knock online tutoring when you're still seeing the person. You're still getting that one-on-one attention. You're getting a
That's all we
whiteboard.
really have right now.
Huh?
That's all we really have right now.
Yeah. So, and you're practicing social distance. Plus you're still getting the same amount of quality online.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, if you're getting like random Billy Bob, then obviously you're not.
So it kind of affects your business, but like not so much because you can do everything remote too.
Yes.
Whereas like me, on the other hand, this is all like in person. Like there's no, like I can't do this through a computer at all. Like my Oklahoma family I talked about last episode, they ended up rescheduling on me when on their vacation this past week. She texted me like literally hours before and said, hey, I really hate to do this. It's not in my character, but I'm going to have to reschedule with you and see you next year because we have to go home early, because Oklahoma was literally like shutting down. I haven't really read up about what happened in Oklahoma yet, but I guess they're on like a lockdown too, maybe, or like
because I think California is I don't want to say like lockdown, but they're on like a
you know what I mean, like a curfew or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they had to get home because their 70-year-old mother-in-law or something, like, she was by herself and she didn't probably want to be by herself in the midst of all this. So
yeah, and try not to get her sick.
It was sad. I was so sad.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't really be upset about it because you have to understand.
Oh, for sure.
And that's one thing I feel like a lot of people should understand. Well, granted, some people, like in your case, like you have like a schedule per se for all the people, and like
And it wasn't even just that family, like because of this whole thing, like event venues have shut down for like the next 60 days, and like 3 of my weddings had to reschedule for way later in the year.
yeah,
So, and the brides, they were just so distraught because, you know, as a bride, you plan this for like almost a year to a year and a half.
forever.
And it's a big deal to a bride, like, and you
Yeah,
have this date set in your head for like so long, and you're like, this is the day I'm getting married. And then for this to happen, like a once almost like a once in a lifetime like occurrence, you know, because this is never in my 28 years on this earth. This kind of thing has never happened before, you know,
yeah,
and then
uh,
all of a sudden this happens and throws everything off.
yeah, and you really never know how long it's gonna last either, because even for weddings, it's kind of like, even if they can't even schedule it for a year later, can they? Because people already have those dates set, right?
Exactly. So they've literally had to like get the, I don't even want to call it the scraps, but like literally there's
Yeah,
dates that you don't want as a bride, especially like if you have an outside wedding, you don't want to get married in the middle of summer because it's hot, you're going to sweat
yeah,
all your makeup off, you know, and that doesn't really look great for pictures. But if that's the only option you have, you know, like you have to go with it unless
yeah,
you want to wait like another year.
yeah. And no one wants
So
to do that. I don't, I don't know. Like, just thinking of like even some of the businesses that, like the food businesses, I mean, those are still, I don't want to say they're being affected, but I mean, I guess it's good that they have, like, the takeout. They're still letting like the
yeah.
small businesses do the takeout. Obviously the groceries, because my sister lives in Berlin,
Hmm.
so they're all shut down.
Are they
So
still doing like groceries and takeout and stuff?
they can do groceries. She said that only one person per household can leave, to
Wow.
go get groceries, but she still says there's still nothing in the stores. Um, but yeah, they are on
It's
lockdown for I think
crazy.
5 weeks. But she I mean, she's just like me. She knows it's going to be longer.
Yeah.
So I mean, because as I was telling you, like, it's hard to, for me, my perspective is it's kind of hard for me to talk about this, because I am affected, but I'm not as affected as someone like you,
Yeah.
or maybe like, I'm trying to think of other small businesses, because I mean, I still see people mowing lawns, even though, I mean, obviously that's probably not the best idea, but I mean, you have to do what you have to do to get money. Like, you can't just stop. And
Right.
if you haven't saved for something like this, or if you're a person that, I mean, you have a nice lifestyle, but you still live paycheck to paycheck, this happens, and it's kind of like, well,
Especially for like the service industry, it's kind of sad. Like I was a waitress for a really long time, and it's a great way to make like really quick money, but like, and I don't do that anymore obviously, but like so many of my friends are put out from a job right now, like all my servers and bartender friends, like, and it's sad because like they weren't prepared for this. Like, who was prepared for this?
yeah, I mean,
And
because Kylie obviously is my wife, if you're listening. She is a server at Cracker Barrel, and the last time she worked was, I want to say, last week.
last weekend.
And yeah, no, I think it was last Monday, maybe last Monday or Tuesday. It was a
Yeah.
while ago. So then obviously the shifts got smaller,
Yeah.
and then that's when they posted about well, at that time they were only doing 50 customers, no, 50 people total in the store. So she said there's like one cook, one manager, and like maybe like three servers.
Yeah.
And then obviously they put down the law about saying like all restaurants are closed, only takeout. So she's out of a job right now as well. So I mean, I see that side of like the serving aspect is like, what do you do? Like, you don't, no one really prepares for this. Like, what do you do
The
now? Like,
cool thing is though, like some of these big businesses are stepping up, like Walmart and Amazon, probably even Target, but they're like hiring people on to help them with like their supply and demand, you know, because with all of this being shut down, like more people are visiting the grocery stores right now to stock up, and you
yeah,
know, for like inventory and then like restocks in the morning. Like they're hiring a lot of people for that, at a decent hourly rate, at least to help get people by. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool
I
that they're
did see
doing
the
that.
thing on I saw the thing on Amazon. They're hiring something, but
Yeah, for like 15 an hour. It's not horrible. I mean,
I mean, at this time, it's just pretty much saving money because I think either, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I don't know, are they pushing all payments back or are they just like saying, let's just wait to see where we are the next time?
what do you mean who?
Like payments on like house payments, car
Like
payments.
mortgages and stuff? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I haven't heard anything from my mortgage company, but I mean that I have heard something from JEA, but I don't use JEA personally. I used to when we use Florida Power and Light now because we're like right over a zone from Jacksonville. But JEA sent out an email that said that they're going to be waiving like late bills right now because of everything that's going on, which is
Yeah.
also nice.
No, yeah, I have J. I guess I should check, but I mean, I'm not worried about that, I
Yeah.
guess I should say.
But like for people like who had, you know, jobs that they
Yeah.
can't go to right now, it's really nice.
No, yeah. So, and a lot of jobs are still, I guess they can do it at home. I talked to one of my friends, he works at ADT,
Hmm.
and because I was like, so what do you do now? And he was like, well, we just work from home. Like,
Right.
how do you do that? Like, do you just use your cell phone? And apparently they have, I guess they either gave him a phone or they set him up on like a hotline. So he just answers the phone from his house.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to find this tweet that someone put out about like how, like once this like pandemic ends, like how the world's pretty much going to change. A lot of people are talking about like how like the Earth is pretty much um, recharging because there's no airplanes, there's no nothing, there's no like
There's no
factories
pollution
going.
going on.
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those like,
Minimal at least.
yeah. So I mean, obviously this is something that we aren't happy about and people obviously need help and we need to stick together, but also looking like scientist wise that are really big with the earth and all that stuff, you could say it's kind of helping that as well. So maybe it's
Very
just
true.
like a recharge for the earth. But yeah, let me look because I watched this thing about, also Gary Vee posted something about like 3 things I hope people take away from it. I don't know if I sent that to you.
I
Um,
think you did.
but I think one thing he said was just like hoping people understand that to start saving
Yeah.
um, for a rainy day because no one really thinks about a rainy day.
Hmm.
I've always been a person that saved my money just because every time I was younger, like I'd get all this money and I'd go buy something and my car would mess up every single time. So my mom's always like, gotta save for a rainy day, always have that money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. But, then I started saving because every time I bought something big or spent a lot of money on something like clothes, my car always messed up. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there goes my bank account.
Right.
So I've always been one to save just because of something could happen, especially with a car. Like when you're young, the last thing you want to fix is your car
Hmm.
because it's always the most expensive and it always happens at the most inconvenient time.
Yeah.
So that's why I was a big saver because of my car, just because of
Right.
having a car and, you know, it messing up out of nowhere. You think you have this brand new car and then like engine messes up. So I was kind of like, well,
Hmm.
there's that. But yeah, one thing was him to save money. Another, I believe, I don't want to play it, is people having um, just being happy, going places and enjoying people, shaking hands, not being envious of everybody.
Hmm.
Um, just because like now, like a lot of people um, are, staying away. Not, I say staying away, but I don't mean like, oh, get away from me, you're disgusting. Just, keeping their distance so like this doesn't spread even more.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the third one is. I could make one up, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I just think that this will be something that will open a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's gonna spark a change for sure.
Yeah. So let me look for that thing real fast. But I mean, for you, have you only talked with people that have only done uh,
Like, been on my schedule, you mean?
well, that and like waitresses? Like I know you have friends that are waitresses.
Yeah.
But do you have any other friends that are affected by this that aren't a waitress per
Are
se?
in a different field.
Yeah.
Um, Let me think. Well, I mean, like my other friends that like work in like banks and stuff, like they're working remote from home, like you had mentioned before. Um, I also work for a roofing company. I do like their accounts payables and receivables Monday through Friday, like 8 to 2. And we're still open as long as the building department's open. So we're not really affected by it yet, unless they call for like everyone absolutely stays home, like that thing that's going on in Germany.
Yeah.
Um, so
I
you
fig
know,
I figured the roofing company would be closed by now.
no, yeah, as long as the building departments stay open and we can pull permits for roofs, like we're golden.
Got it.
But like my photography is pretty much shut down until this is over, because no one wants to come in contact. And
Yeah.
um
What
I
about
would say though, like for small businesses, like my piece of advice being a small business myself is to like stay in people's feed, especially on social media. Well, obviously on social media, like, don't think that just because this is happening that people don't want to hear from you or see you, like they still want that. Like they still want to see like pictures of donuts every day. Always
yeah,
gonna refer to the donuts.
you
I
love
love
you
donuts.
love some donuts.
I'm obsessed with donuts.
I
But you know what I mean? Like, keep putting pictures of, like, post on Facebook, post on your Twitter or your Instagram, and say when this is all over, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're like a food company that's still doing takeout, like keep reminding them that, oh, you know what's really cool? This company at the St. John's Town Center, they're called I Declare. They did something called a social distancing kit. And because like their restaurants closed down right now, they posted on Instagram, and it was this picture of like four hamburgers, two big ribeyes, like two sides, three things of toilet paper, and then like stuff for mimosas, and it was like a $50 package. Like, I mean, that's another way, like as a small business, that you can still, like, if you're a food company, obviously, but
yeah,
you can still like stay in people's minds and
but
you
I think any business could somehow do that.
exactly.
But I think it's just one of those like being having that creative brain to
Exactly.
come up with something. And I mean, even if you think, oh, well, I might lose money off this, but it'll still keep people in their head. So when this does end, they're going to think, oh, you remember that place that had that kind of like package for me? Got to definitely go there. Because
Yeah.
now I think this is one of like a big time for small businesses, because a lot of people are really out there like promoting all these small businesses that maybe you haven't even seen or heard of. So
Hmm.
now, like when you're looking at them, you're looking at them differently. Like you're thinking, I don't need to go to like Ruby Tuesdays or Chili's. Let me go to this small business and get some of their food.
Local
Um,
support. Yeah.
so as long as they're staying in people's feeds, and I think like I just thought about this idea. Um, if I had a restaurant or some type of small business that is shut down, um, I would do maybe like a video every other day, once a week or something, and just talk about an experience that you've seen in your restaurant.
Hmm.
So if you remember a family coming in and you had a chance to talk to them, just go on your phone, make a video, and say, hey, this is Kobe Grant from Chicken and Waffles. I don't know. Um,
Wow.
that's the first thing I thought
What a
of.
choice.
It's what I thought of, but then I was like, I can't say that. But then I couldn't think of
You said
something
it.
different.
You
I
said
know, whatever.
that was so.
Um, but no, I'll like go in there, make a video. I'm like, hey, I remember this one family. They came in. They're really not, and just talk about the experience that you had meeting that family, and just do one like maybe once a week.
People like to hear stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's so true.
there's an idea. You're talking to a guy that has an idea every single day of his life.
Yeah.
So
Or
I
even
mean,
like retail clothing stores, they can ship their products,
Well, and
especially locally. It'd be easy.
yeah, well, now they have to think about the people that have small businesses that don't have websites. Is now okay. We
Right.
need to make a website, or actually make a website that can actually get stuff shipped as well. And I mean, obviously, you got to figure out like the shipping company, because if you just do it through like FedEx, it might be more expensive than actually doing it through a company.
Yeah.
So I mean,
There's always a way. There's a way like to get through this. There is. It's going to be like hard, but it's worth it, you know?
yeah, and I mean, if you have a small business or you're entrepreneurs, just keep creating and just think about other ways. Like take this time and say, okay, what was I doing and what didn't I do to where I would be prepared for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit here and say, oh, I did online because I knew something like this was going to happen. I'm not sitting here saying that. I did that for other various reasons. But like, obviously you're a photographer. You can't sit here and say, okay, if something like this happens, I'm going to do online shoots. You can't do that.
Right.
So I guess people like photographers and stuff like that, like there's obviously nothing you can do. Maybe work on, I mean, you already have like pictures in your vault and
Yeah.
you're just going to keep posting them.
Honestly, I just thought like I'm going to use all this time to focus on my family, like, because I barely get pictures of like my actual family.
Yeah.
I was just busy taking everyone else's and my other job, and so I took a vow to take more pictures of like my little girls, and
Just have home photo shoots. I did one the other day.
yeah.
I wasn't any of them, but I just took some.
You have a timer on that thing,
Yeah, I know. I just,
and a tripod.
I know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe next time. I mean, I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah,
I've been working on my whole editing type thing. So
you've been doing really good with that.
yeah, I posted one. If you go to my Instagram visuals, I posted. There's my plug. No, so like the one, I don't know if I told you, but the one I just posted, the one with the wrestler, um, when I was making it, like before I even posted it or showed anybody, I looked at it and I was like, man, this is dope. Like this is the best picture I've ever like created. And I've created like a couple, but like when he sent me the picture, I already had the vision of what I wanted. Because
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, okay. In my head, I see Tupac, All Eyes on Me, because it's just him walking to wherever he was going, like to his wrestling mat.
Mm-hmm.
Once I finished making it, it ended up turning to a Kanye West All of the Lights type vibe because there's
Yeah, it did look like that.
so once I posted it, I was like, man, this doesn't look that good.
It does look good.
I mean, yeah, I know, but like, because I was telling Kylie, I was like, yeah, I don't think the picture looks as good as it did when like I was doing like looking at it by myself. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel the same way about my selfies. I said, yes.
Look, you're always your biggest critic, especially after the fact. You become the most vulnerable after you expose yourself.
Yeah,
So
and as I said, it's still one of those things that it's me doing 1,000 things, and it's kind of like, okay, now it's kind of like, oh, what is he doing now? It's like, well, this is the time to figure out what you want to do. You
mhm.
have so much time. Granted, like you have to work around your kids and your family, but if you can create or you can do something, then might as well do it, put it out, and if it doesn't go
That's
well,
a good topic too, though. Like, let yourself be vulnerable.
yeah.
You know?
Did you? Because I just posted that thing on did you see my little thing, my John Cena? I'm a John Cena mark. If you haven't noticed.
Have it as on Instagram.
Yeah, I put it on my story. It says, if given the opportunity to create, be bold. Understand you will not please everyone, and criticism is a natural response to putting yourself out there. Don't create for any other reason than you've been given the opportunity to do so. Embrace the
Mhm.
entire process and its lesson.
Yeah.
So that's John Cena, guys. I might give a John Cena quote every day because I got some good ones. Um, so pretty much that's kind of like but I've always embraced the whole kind of like I'm going to create and I'm just going to show it.
Yeah.
And obviously if I knew I don't want to say I'm like really good, because there's people that are way better than me out there, but if I knew I was like, as talented, average as I am, I would have been posting this a long time ago. But like, I just did one of The Rock, but my thing is about doing celebrities, kind of like, it doesn't really like feel the same as, instead of doing it for someone actually like I don't, obviously I'm going to do some for people I don't know, but it's just the fact that I could meet that person and like they're like, oh my god, that's so great, like that looks awesome, blah blah blah, stuff like that, instead of doing it for like celebrity just to get kind of like, a tag them and like it. Obviously I'm going to post it and I made it. um
Yeah.
but I think it's just that feeling of knowing like, I should have did this a long time ago, and everybody's like, why didn't you just go into editing and video editing? And I'm like, I guess at the time it wasn't like an option per se,
Hmm.
or you didn't hear people saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be a video editor, I'm going to edit videos, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a computer person. um, so I think now is kind of like my time to just post as much content as possible, and just, if it hits,
Yeah.
it hits. If it doesn't, I'm going to go back to work and still be a teacher and still have a tutoring company.
Right.
But it'll be still something
You'll
that,
probably stumble upon another idea that you want to do or start or.
yeah, I think, well, I don't know. All the ideas I start, I do like think about, but I don't really share them until like I'm about to do them.
Mhm.
So even if I had an idea, you don't know about it.
I'm pretty low key like that too.
I I kind of like, even with the picture thing, like I started editing the pictures of me and Kylie, and I posted it on my regular account, my
Yeah.
Pablo account. But I didn't say anything. I just kind of like posted it. I posted the edited pictures and then I posted the regular one. Um, and some people caught on. They're like, oh, you're editing, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm dabbling, I'm getting back into it, because I felt like at the time when I first learned it, I didn't really learn it. And I think with me, it's just like, and I think with anybody, you have a skill that you haven't used, and then one day it just kind of like clicks in you, and you're like, I know how to use this skill to the full maximum. I
Hmm.
might as well.
Right.
Um, so I obviously, like, you obviously, as long as it's good, then people like it. But you can't like say, oh yeah, I'm great at this, but you're like below average. You can't.
Right.
I'm a great artist. Not really. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're watching this, like this picture right here, the Black Panther, there's a girl on my Instagram, Cassie Marie, I think. She painted that one. And then this is my 60-second shout out. This one right here is from Dev Kai, DVKAI. He made that one. So if you're looking at these, wondering what they are, they're just paintings. I'm a big painter. That's my like.
Yeah,
Um,
you have those all over your house.
yeah, I am a, what do you call that? A guilty pleasure. I love paintings. So if I figured I'd give them a shout out, because, they're artists and they're way better than me. So yeah, but still talking about the small businesses and how is it affecting everybody, because we kind of got off a tangent. Um, I think just, because obviously this is probably going to last until August. I think, unfortunately, some businesses are going to shut down, which is sad, because you got to think, some people, it's mom and pop stores that have had it in their name for generations. But um, what I'm hoping is this is what I just thought. What if some of the stores that did, or most of the stores that go out of business, what if like the bigger businesses put money back into them?
That would be so nice, like a community thing.
Yeah, kind of like,
Support your local community, even though you're already big and you're successful. Like let's say Target or Walmart or like I don't know
or
any of the
even
big businesses around here.
a big business, or like your
Just pay
local,
their like rent for a couple of months because that's really what it is. What it comes down to.
or like your local, I don't say hero, but like your local athlete, or I mean, you can't ask an artist or a, football player or anybody to say, hey, you have all this money, like you should put it back into me. You can't say that. because obviously they have to help their family and themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But maybe like a big business or maybe someone or the community, but then that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but I mean, just hoping that some companies maybe will see that as a community, we're trying to keep these small businesses open, that they'll say, okay, this is nothing
You know
to.
how, did you hear about how Trump's trying to like launch that sending families like $1,000 to $3,000 things? Have you heard
Yeah,
about that?
so it's I think you have to make less than 70,000. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so if you have, two parents who get 1,000, and then for each kid it's 500. But I
Yeah.
think they said it only goes up to a family of 4. So
Yeah, something like that.
if you have like 6 kids, then
You're gonna get a lot of money. But it would be cool if he did something like that for businesses
well, I don't
to
think,
keep the economy thriving.
yeah, but I think I don't think that was his idea.
No, it wasn't his idea.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean,
But whoever's
obviously,
idea was, it would be cool, right?
well, here's the thing. I'm not a big politician person. I actually am not a politician. I don't watch politics.
Okay.
So I like all my information I get off is Facebook and Instagram. So
Horrible place to hear about politics.
so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But what I've heard is they're gonna bail out like the bigger businesses. So I feel
Why?
like,
They don't need the help.
as I said, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I mean, it could be well, they said that, I don't know. My thing is, if they will, because obviously they need the bigger businesses.
Yeah, true.
Well, if they're going to bail out the bigger businesses, the bigger businesses should help out the smaller ones around their community.
Yeah.
Obviously, it obviously has to go up to the bigger person. Um, so they should look around. Okay, what small business is around this community that needs some help, and then kind of go from there. But obviously, that's asking for a lot, because probably won't happen. Um, but I mean, we can be wishful thinking. There's a lot of time, and I think a lot of people will see that um, we don't actually need these big businesses, and hopefully, like, being a teacher, these kids see that, hey, I don't need to spend my money on like pointless things. Like, you can't go anywhere, so what are you going to do with $1,000 jacket? I mean, you're going to take a picture of it and then do what with it? Put it back in your closet?
Right.
Like, what am I going to do with like a Gucci belt?
They need to invest it right now. They need to
Yeah,
get in that stock market because right now is the time to buy
exactly. I'm trying to.
for real.
Oh, yeah. I'm I'm learning about that too. That's my next thing I'm learning about, is getting
I
stocks. So,
literally ordered a book on Amazon called like Stocks for Dummies or something. I'm
uh,
really trying to get into it too.
well, I follow a lot of stock things now, and my friend kind of gave me like kind of the dummies kind of rundown, because I'm not a big book reader.
Mhm.
I'm a person that I'm hands on. You have to be there. I have to see it. Show me.
Yeah.
And he's always said that. Let me pull up mine, because I got E-Trader. He said download E-Trade, not E-Trader, E-Trade. Um, and he's always said look for the dividend yield, um, and make sure it's pretty high. But he has a lot of stocks, and he's been doing it forever. But yeah, I mean, he said that's the best time. So like, he's always said that when you're first starting, is look at places that you invest in a lot. Like if you go to Walmart a lot, Walmart's never going to go away. Like, do the things that that won't like die and go away in like 20 years. Like
Mhm.
Walmart won't go away. Um, Cracker Barrel won't go away. They actually just bought um,
Maple Street.
Maple Street, AT&T. So he's always said, like, don't put all your money in one. Try to get different ones. So like a technology, a restaurant.
Yeah, that's what my dad said too. He's a licensed broker. He's telling me all about it.
Oh, so why doesn't he just help you with that?
He is, but the thing is, he works for, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it. He probably won't hear this.
Don't
He
say it.
works for,
Don't say
it's, it's not like he's the FBI.
it.
He works for Deutsche Bank, and he handles 30 very large companies like Apple, Google, whatever. So he can't buy stocks from any of these companies because he already has like pretty much insider information, you
Yeah.
know? So he's not allowed to buy any of those stocks because he already knows like, what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But he can still like trade and buy in the market, but like he can't, or buy and sell in the market, but he can't like do anything with those. But he's been doing it for so long, and he has like all this information. When he was trying to tell me, like, I went over to his house one day just to pick something up, and I just brought it up, and it was just like loads of information, like,
Yeah.
and all this terminology, and I was just like, man, this is intriguing. Like, some people would get bored by that, but I was like, this is awesome. Gotta learn about it.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like what got me intrigued into it kind of is one, why have money just sitting in a bank doing nothing when you could put money into something that will give you money back?
Right.
I mean, someone, I don't know who did it, but someone put a tweet out about like how he like paid off certain bills with the money he receives back on his yield or his dividend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And then I think that was my clicking point, is seeing that tweet. And then I already have a friend that's really deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, bro, I got you. I'll help you out. Just watch and just let me guide you. And so I have the app, and like looking at some of these places, he was like, wait until like for instance, let's see, Walmart is at, I'm looking at my phone right now, and it's Sunday night, right? Yeah, it's
Okay.
9 o'clock, and found out the market is open on the weekdays, not the weekend. So that's a bummer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
They're
told,
closed on the weekend?
I texted him, I think Saturday morning. I was like, hey, man, I got my trades ready. Like, if it hits it, I'm going to get it. He was like, yeah, they're closed on the weekend. I was like,
Yeah. No, you're not, buddy.
look at me looking all stupid. But yeah, so like right now, Walmart is at $113.97. And I was like, he was like, yeah, just wait to see if it gets lower. Because I guess it's better to get as many lower buys as possible per
Well,
se.
it's going to continue to go down
Yeah, and he said just
for a
wait.
little while. Yeah.
So he said see if it goes down to 105. So I'm going to put in a limit at like 105, and that way the limit is pretty much just saying that it'll only buy it if it hits at 105.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Like I'm going to try to get Cracker Barrel, Walmart, and I had something else on here. Apple's pretty expensive, by the way.
Yeah. They're like $300 per
Well,
share.
right now it's 229.
Dang, it's dropped.
So
Like, I literally looked at it on Friday. I'm telling you, it was $300 on Friday.
so like
Dropped.
their 52-week high is $327.85. Their 52-week low is $127. And let's see.
It's probably a good idea to invest in them right now because they're only just going to come back out on top after
Yeah,
this
yeah.
little.
Them Disney and obviously like Walmart.
Yeah.
But also like get like other stocks that, if you can get it like JetBlue, Delta. Some guy
Yeah.
said Delta was a good one. I was thinking about WWE because obviously I watch wrestling. But yeah, I'm trying to get really into that. The terminology I still don't understand, but I kind of get the idea of it.
Same.
So I think that's really all I need. I don't really need to know like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's my thing. Tomorrow is going to be my first day. I'm gonna try
Me
to.
too. It feels like the first day of school.
Yeah.
So, entrepreneurs, what you can do with your time right now
Learn
is
about
invest in the
stocks
stock market.
because
Flip your money.
once this pandemic ends, You're either going to be the
You're gonna
same.
be looking back like, what pandemic?
Yes, you're going to be looking. You either your bank account's going to look the same, or it's going to look kind of fat. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't know how this stuff works anyway. So I guess I'm hoping that it does.
We could just be like talking out of our butts.
Yes, someone's listening to this that does this, and they're like, "What are they talking about?" I'm like, "Hey,
Idiots.
we need to get your dad. I need to talk to your dad. I'm gonna just send your dad money and be like, hey, do what you do.
He'll
And
do it.
why don't you do that?
Because I'm just the type of person that I want to manage it. I'll take his advice, but I want to manage it myself.
Mm,
He's actually not even, look, he's calling me right now. That's so crazy.
you should put him on speakerphone and tell him we're
Picture.
talking about stocks.
Yeah, I'm going to text him and be like, we're actually talking about you right now.
Talking
Speak
about,
of the Father.
yeah. So those are the ones that I'm gonna look for. So hopefully by next week that I'll have some. Hopefully, I'll
Yeah.
hopefully have at least. Well, I'm trying to get at least 5 stocks of Walmart, and then, yeah, I think that's the goal. If I ended up with 5 stocks of Walmart by next week, then I'll be happy. That means I'm on a new role. Not a new role, a new road in my life. Is I'm adding something else to my plethora of things that I'm doing.
Right.
So
It's kind of
also,
like gambling. I'm pretty excited.
gambling is kind of like you lose everything. This is not technically losing everything per se. I mean, I think we're gonna lose some, but I think in the end game, that's my Marvel reference. I think we'll be fine. Hopefully. If not, then I'll just give your dad money and be like, hey, do what you do.
Bro.
So,
Well,
I have no idea how long this podcast is because we don't have a timer this episode. So,
I'm definitely sure it's been a solid 30. We've just been chit-chatting away.
I think that's the best part about being an entrepreneur is talking and learning more things. And just my thing is talking with people gives me more ideas, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I do have one last question for you because it kind of sparked my interest. How is it balancing your husband, kids, and now a podcast?
And the photography business. And
Yes,
work. It's
because I
it's
feel like this is
going.
something. I feel like this is new to you.
It is new to me. It's I will say it's hard. Like I'm just gonna be 100. Like it's hard because I'm on like everyone else's schedule. I don't have my own schedule. You know what I mean? But I can always make time for it because we could, at the end of the day, if all else fails, we can do it this way. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like remote, we don't even have to, but it's cooler. Like I like to be side by side because I feel like like the vibe is different. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like this is fine, but the vibe's different when we can actually do it together. But it's definitely hard to juggle because like on the weekends, like I just want to spend all my time with those girls. Like I love them so much.
No, that makes sense.
Same with my husband, and, but this is also something that's fun for me because I like talking about business and inspiring people to start one. It's not hard. I mean, maybe right now might not be the best time to
Well,
start
it's not. Well, starting one right now obviously isn't the best time,
plan.
but planning one and thinking about one, and you could say I'm a hypocrite because I didn't really plan grant tutoring, but
Yes,
um,
mine either.
just thinking of like other ones. There's always this. Where is it? There's always like if you go on Instagram and follow like whatever entrepreneur things you can find. There's always like and small businesses you can start from your home or just whatever. Like, um, let's say that you want to dabble in photography, watch as many YouTube videos as possible, take
Yeah,
notes.
for sure.
To be a web designer, watch YouTube, take notes, go
It'll
on
give you
Wix.
a great introduction too.
I mean, Wix does like you can pretty much make a website and then be like, I don't want it anymore and just not post it and not pay a dime for it.
Yeah.
And just practice learning how to do it.
They'll even give you like your own domain name. I mean, granted, it will say something like, for example, cohenandcophotography.wix.com, or you
Yeah,
can just buy your own domain name and attach it to that, but then you have to have a plan. But if you want the free one, like they'll still give you like a free domain name.
yeah, and I mean, as I said, there's even if you just want to practice, just different types of websites. I mean, granted, I forgot I'm actually making a website right now.
For the attorney.
Yeah, well, it might be on hold right now, but I did get his pictures and they look really good, by the way.
Good. You'll have to send me some of those. I want to see them.
So yeah, like a lot of things, I'm trying to find it right now, but like a lot of the things that you can do once this stuff ends is kind of be prepared and just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I don't really care what, and that's one thing like a lot of people have to get past is I got to get past of what people are going to say.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to support that first thing that you do, but you'll have like maybe like 3 people that will say stuff, and those 3 people will sound like a million.
Yeah.
But kind of once you get past those people, it's kind of like just keep doing what you got to do. And just, I mean, if that's the case, I wouldn't have started all these things that I'm doing. And like I'm changing. If you don't like the way you're doing it, change it. Like I have a podcast that I'm probably going to change. So it's just one of those things that just do it. That's pretty much what we're telling you to do is have this time to figure out what you want to do and just do it. And I'm still trying to find it. I don't think I'm going to find it before this episode ends, but maybe I'll find it, send it to Becca, and we'll post it on our Instagram page.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much the moral of this podcast or this episode is stay strong. Think about how you can innovate your business.
Stay relevant too. Like stay on social
media. And start planning for something that maybe you want to do. If you feel like you're great at creating, do it. Do it right now.
Right.
Either do it early in the morning or do it at night, because obviously a lot of people have kids. Or, I mean, some of you guys are still working from home. So, like, when you have that free time, do it then. So, I mean, I can't tell you not to watch TV or not to go outside and not to do any of that, because I spent 4 hours watching Tiger King on Netflix. It's actually really good. Got 2 episodes left. So, but yeah, anything else? Any last words for you, Becca?
I don't have any words. That's it for me.
So if you are listening to this, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at Jacksonville Entrepreneurs and YouTube. Our full video of this will drop every Wednesday. So usually Wednesday morning. If you get on our Facebook page like that as well, I will post it and let you guys know once it drops. Make sure you share it with someone. And I think that's all I have. So we will catch you next Monday, probably still quarantined, probably still over the internet. And we are out.
Kaylee, bye.